to communities and communities into healthcare since 1978. And by Fired Up Pizza. Fired Up Pizza, located at 206 East Main Avenue in downtown Chewelah, offers craft beverages and brick oven fired pizza, including a variety of sandwiches, salads, pasta, and homemade soups. Featuring weekly events such as bingo, karaoke, and live music. Fired Up Pizza also has space for your private event and offers both in-house and off-site catering services. Open daily at 11:30 a.m. for lunch and dinner. For more information, visit their Facebook page or contact Fired Up Pizza at 509-936-9121. Fired Up Pizza is a proud supporter of public radio in Stevens County.
Your KCHW Morning Show, made possible by a donation from God-Fearing Brothers Auto Center. God-Fearing Brothers specializes in auto services, including repair, maintenance, and detailing. They also stock a full selection of tires, make glass repairs, offer towing, and have an auto sales lot on the corner of Highway 395 and Main Street at the light. For more information, you can visit the Auto Service Center at 806 East Main in Chewelah. Find them online at godfearingbrothers.com or by phone at 509-935-6414. KCHW-FM thanks God-Fearing Brothers for supporting public radio in Stevens County.
And by Chewelah Flooring.
Chewelah Flooring at 214 East Clay in the 3rd Street Mall offers a wide variety of products including carpet, ceramic and porcelain tile, vinyl and laminate planks, and vinyl sheet flooring. Chewelah Flooring carries products for both commercial businesses and residential homes, including brands like National Flooring, Del Tile, Mannington, and Mohawk. They also offer blind repair. For more information, you can visit online at ChewelahFlooring.com, call 509-935-8021, or via email at ChewelahFlooring@gmail.com.
This is KCHW 102.7.
Are you ready?
We're ready.
We're ready.
Outstanding.
Outstanding. Yay. Wow, wow, wow. Right?
All right now. Come on, boy.
Here we go.
Yeah.
Oh, Sharon, we look so pretty.
You do.
Good boy.
Oh, I'm not even on yet. Okay, there we are.
Yeah.
Hiya! Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the KCHW Morning Show. It is Wednesday, June 18th. I'm here joined with my two lovelies, Sharon Ludwig and Paula Randall. Good morning, ladies. How you doing?
Good morning.
Good morning.
Yeah, I'm so excited to have Paula back. I've
I
been
know, right?
missing her.
Yay.
We've all been missing Paula.
Yeah.
Welcome back, Paula.
Thank y'all.
And welcome, everybody, again to the Wednesday morning local roundup.
Yes.
Yes.
Chuck did not get the memo this morning. He is not wearing his light blue shirt.
I'm not wearing my
See?
light blue shirt.
There
I'm
was
sorry.
a memo. There was a color code. There was a dress code.
I wore
Same.
one this morning, but I took it off because it's the one I slept in last night.
Oh, yeah, we don't want that
Yeah.
one.
And the
we
one I
want that
wore
one.
yesterday.
Oh, no,
We
no,
didn't
no.
want
Yeah, no. I don't need to do that. All right. And it was one, too, that it's got some stains in it. And like I had like 3 people yesterday. Oh, there's something on your shirt. I'm like,
Yeah, I was one of
know.
them. Yeah.
It's a stain. I'm sorry. I'm
Yeah.
messy. I'm a messy eater.
No, it's all good. It's all good. I can relate to that. I hear you. We're
Right?
just looking out for you because we always want you to look your best.
Oh, thank you.
See,
Thank you.
it's
Thank you.
because we care. We care.
It takes a lot. It takes a lot for me to look my best.
Well,
right.
it's a beautiful sunny day.
It is. Do you want to take us through the weather?
Yes, please.
All right.
Okay, today, as we said, is Wednesday the 18th. It looks like we're going to have a high today of 83 degrees and a low of 46. Clear skies this evening. Looks like on Thursday, we're going to start cooling off with a high of 79 and a low of 51 with mostly sunny skies. Friday, a high of 67, a low of 45, and cloudy. Looks like a 13% chance of rain. On Saturday, the 21st, we have a high of 56, super cool, a low of 44, and a 58% chance of showers. On Sunday, the 22nd, we have a high of 66, a low of 46, and cloudy, 24% chance of rain. Monday, we go back up to a high of 74, a low of 48 with partially cloudy skies, 19% chance of rain. And then we start warming up again on Tuesday, high of 84, low of 54, mostly sunny skies. And Wednesday, a high of 86 and a low of 56. So we look like we are getting a good possibility of some rain over the weekend.
You know, I'm kind of excited
Really?
about those temperatures and and a
Yeah.
little bit of rain.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
A high of 56 degrees. That's like springtime again.
It
We're-
is.
We're rolling back the clock, and I'm not mad at that.
I think my trees will really love that. You know, in my garden that I'm watering the garden, but my lawn, I'm not watering my lawn.
Yeah.
My front lawn might be really excited about that.
I haven't watered yet either, but I did. You know, I joke all the time about how I have not cut my yard yet this year. I can't say that anymore. Over the weekend, I actually got one of those like walk behind string trimmers because that's what I need to tackle my yard. I did the whole yard.
Wow.
Yeah, I did it on Sunday, and I'm still hurting over it.
Oh, I bet. I bet. I was going to say, did a neighbor mow your lawn again, Chuck?
No, I didn't. Well, I didn't actually mow I didn't mow the front yard. I just did the backyard. But that was the important part.
Yeah, yeah.
And I told you this right before we went on the air. I'm super excited. I have a pear tree in my yard that I planted shortly after we moved into our house. It's been about 7 years since I've planted this. It was one of those we mail ordered it, and I had to laugh because it came in a box. It was a stick.
Yeah.
It was a single stick, and it had the little root ball on the bottom that was like in a round plastic thing. You got to pop the plastic off and stick it in the ground. And that tree is now almost as tall as our house, and it hasn't done anything for all these years. And I was watching. Last year it had flowers for the first time, but didn't produce any fruit.
Right.
This year I never saw any flowers, but I was out there working in the yard and saw one little pear. And then I looked again and saw another little pear. And then I started looking over, sort of unfocus your eyes, you know, and look at the tree. And the whole tree from top to bottom is just completely covered in pears.
That's awesome.
That's
It must
nice.
have been beautiful flowering. You just missed it.
And I was looking every day when all the other trees were flowering, and I didn't I never saw a single flower on that tree. I don't understand. It must have gone really quick.
Yeah.
You know what I want? And Sharon, you'll have to tell me if this is even possible here. I want one of those trees that has different fruit.
Well,
Yeah.
We had one that had 3 different apples on it, 3 different types, and it finally, over the years, 2 parts died, and then we just had to cut it because it was, but it was kind of fun because you'd have different colors of apples because I can't remember the 3 kinds, but they were definitely 3 different kinds, and it was a fun tree. But
I think you can graft those yourself. I know you can do that.
I know that you can graft them. I probably won't. But we have a lovely, it's what are they, princess apples? They're like the little teeny tiny ones that are very, very small. And you're supposedly supposed to be able to put them in pies, but I never found the right happy spot to pick them. And the tree is in a bad spot. So we wanted to take that one out and replace it with one of those multi-fruit trees to see how they went.
yeah.
Because we still would love that beautiful color, you know, and the fruit. Actually, we'd like to have usable fruit because I can, and I make jellies, and
Nice.
yeah,
When we first bought our home, it was listed as mature fruit trees on the property, and those mature fruit trees were 2 crabapple trees.
funny.
I believe it was is it a Bradford pear that are the inedible?
I don't know.
I don't know.
They're considered an invasive species, and
wow.
they have these little rock hard inedible fruits and
We're gonna
spikes,
look that up.
gigantic spikes all over them. I think it was Bradford, maybe I'm wrong, but what was it? Those little tiny, really super sour plums. I think they were cherry plums. But anyway, yeah. So we had mature fruit trees, but nothing actually edible.
Bradford
Oh yeah,
pear.
a Bradford
Yeah.
pear tree. Yep.
Yeah, it's actually considered an invasive. It's a beautiful tree, but it's an invasive species, and it has big, long, like 1.5 inch long spikes all over it.
But it says they can
my
be
gosh.
used to make wine and seasonings.
Really?
Yeah.
Because they're really disgusting.
It says they're inedible raw.
Yeah.
Yeah. Beautiful in color, the Bradford pear tree is native to Asia. When introduced to the United States as an ornamental tree, it thrived. Wildlife love the fruits of the Bradford or calorie. Do you think that's how it's pronounced?
Could be.
Calorie pear, yeah.
Yeah,
that's what
and
it
an
is.
abundance of trees are spread via birds and squirrels, appearing seemingly out of nowhere overnight. Bradford pears are known. Let's see, where does it say where we can eat them? Here we go. As ornamental trees, their fruits, which are an edible raw, can be used to make wine and seasonings.
I'm not going to do either.
And it says the seeds are mildly poisonous.
Oh, yeah.
That makes
Are
sense.
mildly poisonous.
It
to
is a beautiful
humans.
tree, though. I mean, especially when it's in flower. It's one of those trees. The entire tree is just solid white with flowers.
Oh,
it's
pretty.
gorgeous. It's gorgeous flowering, but
Yeah.
it is kind of a nuisance, and it grows really fast.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and then every 2-3 years, I have to trim off the branches, and I get covered in all the spikes and get cut up and stuff. It's pretty gnarly. Yeah.
Why did you order it again?
No, that one I did not put in.
Oh,
that
okay.
one, that one was
Wait a
that was
minute.
one of my established fruit trees on the property. Yeah.
Well, Patty West says she's going camping this weekend, and she would prefer no rain. I
Sorry,
don't know what
Patty.
to say, Patty. I think you're going to get rain.
You're gonna get the rain.
I think that's what's going to happen.
Well, depends on where she goes.
Oh,
If she
yeah,
goes
that's
far enough
true.
away, maybe.
I do need to get all the. You can't actually see the ground underneath where I trimmed everything over the weekend because it was so high. It was so many weeds that it's just like a solid mat of.
Oh, so
dead
now you
stuff
have compost on your ground.
you
Yeah.
go.
So now, but I'm now thinking I probably should get rid of that before it rains, or it's just gonna.
Oh, yeah.
Or maybe I want it to kill everything and just start from scratch
I don't know. I'm checking the weather
and plant
for
nothing
Kathy.
but clover. Sorry, neighbors.
Man, this is awful.
Gotta do that down.
Huh, it
Oh,
doesn't.
What's going on?
The
that
weather.
black bar.
The black bar.
Oh.
There we go.
Well, it's a good thing we're done with weather. We can move along. And you know what we don't have today? We don't have school breakfast or lunch. You know why?
I know school
is no
out.
'Cause there's
School.
no school.
Wow.
Well, it looks, Patty, if like I searched Kettle Falls, I don't know where you're camping. It looks like no rain in Kettle Falls on Sunday. Let's go to Spokane. But you know, we still have Chuck. We still have birthdays.
We do. You know what? I'm gonna grab that. I was
Spokane
fascinated by
County.
the weather you got
Oh,
going
yeah.
on there. I'm not camping, but I would like to know. All right. So today on our Chula Valley Lions Club calendar, we have Avery Arnold, Megan George, Ruth Anna Frizzell, and Robert Nine, all with birthdays. Happy birthday, everybody!
Happy birthday.
And Robert Nine, a local musician, just had a new album come out. So
Nice.
yeah, he did a little listening party here at the radio station, and we got to listen to all of his new music, and he got some critiques from some friends, and
Nice.
yeah, it was really fun. It was
Oh,
really
very
great. Yeah.
cool.
So do you know whose birthday's coming up Friday?
Who's?
Wait, I'm about.
Is it yours? It's yours.
You
Me
know,
and Scott.
it's you
Oh, how
and Scott's
fun.
birthday
Yeah,
on Friday.
yeah.
Didn't that just happen last year?
Yeah, I do believe so.
Wow.
I know it's been a while, you guys, but we have to have the birthday song.
I'm ready.
Oh.
I'm
Ready?
ready.
Happy birthday. Happy day. Happy birthday. Yay. Yay.
Hey.
I
Sharon-
know you missed it.
There's Sharon over there. They're watching me. Do I have to sing?
Right? Well, and I want to let Patty know I looked for Spokane. Spokane's not so expected to get rain. It's supposed to be cloudy. So depending on where you are, you might not get rain. But I'm hoping for rain here in Chewelah because I think we need some. But not on Friday during the farmer's market.
I do. I'm looking at the weather on the Friday market, and
It's going to be cool.
man, 67 degrees.
Yeah,
It's-
nice and cool.
That's nice.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah.
We had a summer probably 20 years ago. Actually, I don't know when it was, but it rained almost every day all summer, and it'd be dry, maybe 1 or 2 days, and you better mow on that day, or you weren't going to mow.
Wow.
You know, it was
And
just
with that much rain, it just
yeah,
goes,
it was just exactly, and you had to mow every week, and you know, we felt like we were in Seattle. It was awful.
Yeah, that would be awful.
Why can't we just have some nice normal weather?
But you know, abnormal is normal for here.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it is.
Yeah.
Like rain 1 or 2 days a week, you
Yeah,
know, and
yeah.
just enough to keep things green and alive and keep the fire danger down.
Yeah.
No, it has to be hot or not at all.
Hot,
Yeah.
hot,
We
hot.
have not gotten to the official hot. You know, I can't do the hot yet because we're not yet hot. But when we get hot, I'll do the hot. But we're not there yet.
I've been missing that hot.
Well, speaking of stuff that's hot, let's get into the local calendar
Okay.
and figure out what's going on around town.
You know,
and the area
it's
here.
slowed down a
Area.
little, and I know you're going to fill in with what's on the
Chamber.
Chewelah calendar,
Yeah.
the Chewelah.events, which
Thank
is
you.
we want everybody to go to and use and support because that's a great calendar. It's color coded even.
It is. It is.
Yeah. So today is Wednesday, June 18th, and the things that I have are soft pickleball from 8:30 to 11:30, and you can find out more about that. They have a Facebook page, which is called Chewelah Pickleball Club. They also have a website that you can go. It'll take you from the Facebook. You can find it.
Yeah.
You know, yeah. And tonight is bingo at Fired Up Pizza. from 6 to 7. And tonight also is City Council from at 6:30, I believe. Yes.
You don't want to miss the excitement. Wednesday. Yeah. I don't have an echo on this. I wish I had the echo for that.
You're going to have to add the echo.
I need the
Yeah.
echo for that.
Yeah, there's a couple of new things on the agenda, so that was kind of fun to read the agenda.
Yeah, they're going to be voting for an interim mayor until the next election.
We don't know that. The vote is not on the agenda.
Oh, it's not.
It says they're doing interviews and it says that's taking an hour, and
okay.
then they're having an executive session. And normally when they have an executive session and something like that, then they come back out and vote. But it wasn't on the agenda to pick a new mayor. So I don't know if they add it to it or how they do that. But that was interesting to me to read the agenda. Yeah. Okay, and tomorrow, unless you have anything else for today.
Just a reminder from the chamber, if you're a chamber member and you want your item in the newsletter, you have to get that into Chloe today by noon.
Okay, that's good to know.
And you can email those to info@shawila.org.
And you can do that ahead of time. You can give her stuff for next week or the week after. She loves to have things early. Yeah.
Yeah. You don't have to do what I do and wait till the last minute on everything.
Exactly.
Yep.
Yes.
Yep.
So tomorrow, Thursday, June 19th, we have in the afternoon, 10 to 3, the Chewila Valley Springdale Senior Club meeting in Valley. On the first and third Thursdays, they have a potluck and games from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. And then tomorrow.
I hear that's hopping.
That's what I hear. Yeah.
Yeah, I hear it's quite the party. So,
Yeah.
Don't you wish you were old enough to go, Chuck? You're such a young pup.
I'm getting pretty close. I'm pretty close.
Young pup.
I'm almost 50.
And I feel like I'm not old enough yet, and I'm in my 70s. So,
Right?
Let's
just all meet in the middle and be 50 forever.
Okay,
Right?
sounds good.
Yeah.
Then tomorrow night is at the Oasis is karaoke with DJ JD. My tongue was getting confused there. And it's every Thursday from 8:30 to 11:30 p.m.
Yeah. We have a couple things yesterday that we missed. The Chewila Food Bank is open from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m.
Yep.
And then we have right here, actually, in the KCHW Theater, is the Inspire Washington meeting.
Oh, yeah.
And
that's on my calendar, my personal calendar, and I didn't put it on this one.
So this is a tour from the Cultural Futures Group. They are Inspire Washington's. This is Inspire Washington's annual post-state legislative session tour. They visit local communities to share what happened during the session and get feedback from people and share ideas for new fundraising and funding opportunities through the new policies.
Yeah.
So let's see. They have new funding and policies, an overview of the Cultural Access Program, federal advocacy, grant opportunities, and they are going to listen and help you with some coalition building. So there you go.
And I wanted to go back. The food bank is open on Thursdays, not Wednesdays. Right?
Yes. Yeah,
Yeah.
we're talking about Thursday.
Okay, 'cause I thought you said Wednesday. So just making sure, Thursdays.
Thursday.
From 10
Yep.
to 2.
Thursday.
Thursday.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, so then can we go to Friday?
Yes, we can.
Okay, Friday. We start the day with the Chamber of Commerce meeting out at the casino, and that's at 7 a.m. for those who are early risers or not who'd like to be part of that. We had someone come from another community like a week or two ago, and after the meeting, he said, I just love coming to your chamber meetings because everybody's so involved in and we find out what's going on, and because that's what we do. We report on all kinds of, businesses, nonprofits, the county commissioner, the schools, all kinds of things do their reports. And it was just such a nice compliment,
Oh, very cool.
Yeah.
That's neat.
Yeah. And then when you're through at the chamber, you can stay for breakfast if you'd like, and then you can go to play pickleball up at the golf course from 8:30 to 11:30. Also, you can stop at the farmer's market from 11 to 3:30.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
And I've just been so impressed the last couple of weeks. They're full.
Yeah.
So yesterday, we received an email from Ryan, the farmer's market manager. It was every single vendor that has signed up was there that on last Friday.
Right.
Oh, how fun.
It was in his, since he's been running the farmer's market anyway, it was the biggest sales of the day, the biggest sales day they've had in the last 2 years.
Wow.
But considering the last 2 years, they keep breaking records as far as the different vendors showing up, the number of vendors showing up. This year was a record number of vendors on the first day of the market.
Yes.
Yeah, we had like 55 or something.
Yeah, it was crazy. It was a lot. And yesterday, they haven't compiled the numbers yet, or not yesterday, last week may have possibly been the biggest sales day ever in the Friday market.
Wow.
So yeah.
Well, I like the way they've got the food vendors kind of all in a little hub there, so you can just walk around and look at all of them and say, "Oh, that looks good," and you can walk by the people eating, and you kind of
what does it look like? Yeah,
you'd say, "Oh, that looks good. I think I'll try that."
You know, I like that too, and I think before they had all the food vendors up by the street, and I think what a lot of people were doing is they were just coming for food and then leaving, and then not walking around the rest of the market. 'Cause, people taking a break from lunch, they just want to get in and out and grab their food.
Yeah.
And putting all of the food vendors together, I think a lot of the food vendors, people would stop at one, or whichever one had the longest line, and then the other people were sitting there watching all these long lines and not getting any customers.
Yeah.
I know as a former food vendor, I've been there.
Yeah.
Well, I love the new layout. I love the fact that it's not straight lines. It's kind of a circle where you wind in and you wind around, that figure 8.
Yeah.
I just love it. I think it really allows us as vendors to be able to see the market more clearly. And also as people, walking, it's more organic. You're walking the flow of the market, and it's not in these weird straight lines where you have to go, okay, left, and go to the other side, right, and walk around.
Yeah, I feel like you need a drill instructor to help mark you through it. Yeah,
I know. Now you just kind of you flow with it.
Yeah.
But today, tomorrow, today,
Tomorrow?
not today, not tomorrow, but Friday is a very special day at the farmers market.
Yes. Cherry splat.
Yes, I'm glad you brought that up.
It is the cherry splat.
Yeah. Now, tell us about that. That sounds kind of messy.
So
I love it.
The cherry splat, it will be divided into 3 age groups. The winner of each age group will get a prize. Everyone gets 3 chances to get as close to the bullseye as they can. The closest to the bullseye in each age group wins a prize, wins for that group.
Okay, so what am I just throwing it with my hand?
No,
what am
there's
I doing?
going to be slingshots. And I'm actually glad you brought that up because they need slingshots. This year, unlike other years, you will be allowed to bring your own slingshot from home.
Yeah, that was a big deal last year.
Yeah, because last year it was this beautifully hand-carved slingshot last year, but it was really hard, especially for the younger kids without the wrist strength. It was really hard to operate. It was doing a lot of pulling back.
Well, they have those neat ones that fit on your arm and
the wrist rockets.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so you can bring your own. But they are looking for people to bring slingshots for other people to use if they don't have a slingshot themselves. The farmers market doesn't own slingshots for this event. So they do ask that if anybody has a slingshot or 2 or so, they could bring by and let the market borrow for the day.
Oh, nice.
That would be fantastic. Of course, you can use it for your competition and then maybe pass it off and let some other folks use it. So
interesting.
I might just go out. I'm going to be in Spokane later today. I might go find myself a nice slingshot. And
well, because they have those ones that are carved, like there's the pink unicorn ones, and then there's like the Sasquatch ones that you can get. They're wood and they're carved, and I'm not sure how good they are.
I'm going to take your word for that because I've
you
never
haven't seen
those.
them there. We have them over in the gas station. What is the one? See, I'm over here.
Okay, I'm
the one,
not sure
the one
which
to
way
the north
you're
of
pointing.
town.
Yeah, I think so.
I think that would be the JMT.
Oh yeah. Because I think I've seen them there.
Okay.
Right, or at Spoko. One of them, I've seen the slingshots that are carved.
Yeah.
So you have like all the different creatures. You have like the bear, rawr, you could have.
I haven't seen that.
Yeah.
I haven't seen that.
And that happens at 2:00 in the afternoon.
2
so
p.m.
you can go to Spokane and come back if you need to. You can get back in time.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I'm going today, but I might.
Oh,
pick,
today.
I might pick
I
up a
thought you-
slingshot today.
Today.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
That didn't get in the ear. The rest of what you said got through.
Right.
It got in the ear. It just went straight out the other.
Yeah.
That's how that works. Yeah, that's going to be a fun one. And this year, I'm going to be doing the emceeing for that. Myself and Gina Greenwood. We're going to
Very
be
cool.
Fun.
We're going to be the color commentators.
Okay, then on Saturday, June 21st. Oh, have you heard if there's what kind of a dinner is at the American Legion on Friday? They normally have them.
I have not.
And I looked it up, and I could not find anything. And often I see it on Thursday after our show. I see it. They'll post it on Facebook or somewhere.
Yeah, and they don't have their webpage doesn't say anything.
Yeah.
So let me see if I can find them here on Facebook.
Yeah, because, oh, what do I have in my throat?
I had the same thing earlier. It must have left my throat and went straight to yours.
Yeah, oh, I am sorry.
Really weird, Chuck.
Yeah, that was
Yeah.
weird. Sorry, I
That
shouldn't have
was,
said that.
yeah.
That was a bizarre thing to say.
Okay, so while you're looking that up, I'm going to Saturday. Saturday is
Yes.
kind of a big deal day. There's the Colville Valley Animal Sanctuary, their drive-through. And that, if you've not been involved in that, that is quite the deal for you who are struggling or anybody with vaccination prices.
Yeah, we need to get our dogs.
It's
Yeah.
$20 for your rabies shot for
Yeah.
both cats and dogs.
We have 3 dogs that are behind on their shots. We need to go.
Yeah, we need to
go get
go.
their rabies shots. Yeah.
And there's other shots that are 20, 25, 30. You go to the vet and you're going to spend a couple $100. Oh, I'm sorry. I probably shouldn't have said that. you know.
I know my vet is about $80 just to walk in and say hi.
Yeah.
And then the charges start racking up from there.
Well, and I love the vets. I love that
yeah.
they care for my dogs, but this is just what a service that they give you. Now, they remind you, though, that cats need to be in cages and dogs need to be on leashes. Yeah. So, not cages, carriers.
Carriers.
Yeah.
I recently had to have ear surgery done on one of my dogs, and we had to go to a specialist in Spokane.
Oh, my.
And I'm not even going to begin to talk about the bill, but it was a lot.
It was
was a lot.
comparable to a human bill.
Right?
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
A lot of times it's more.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Yeah.
Crazy stuff.
So, and that's it. 501 Old Arden Highway in Colville.
Yep.
But it's for all of the Colville Valley, you know.
Stevens County, yeah.
Stevens County.
Yeah.
All of us. Yeah. And also on Saturday is the 13th annual Front Porch Farm Garden Tour. And that is
Yes.
from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. That is, if you've never been to it, that is amazing. The Front Porch Gardens are on the way to Colville on your left, and you see the big greenhouses, and they are at all the farmers markets,
Yep.
and they have such beautiful produce, and it is so fun to go, and it's just self-guided tours. You get to wander in and out of their greenhouses, see how they grow the tomatoes. It's amazing. See how they grow everything else
Yeah.
in their rows and everything, and yeah, it's just a great tour. Take a picnic lunch, they said, if you want, and they have picnic benches and tables and set up, and the grass, bring a blanket, you know, you can spend a little time there.
Do they serve food in the store there? I've been in there a few times, but it's been a while
yeah,
and I
but
don't
see,
remember.
the store is way at the highway, and you're going to pass the store and go all the way down to where the farmhouse is.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and that's where the tour is, and there's parking down at the farmhouse down by the greenhouses.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, and it's such a nice. When they first started the tours, it was a little charge, and they gave personal tours, and that was very interesting. They showed us how to make soil blocks and how they did the rows and everything, and they had everything set up. But then they found that people just wanted to wander, and
Yeah.
so they're just free tours now.
Oh,
You're just
wow.
free to go. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's a great family. They're a lot of fun.
yeah,
I
yeah.
love talking with them every Friday.
Yeah.
They're all great.
Who's the family? I was watching. I was
The
not.
front porch garden.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. And that's just not very far from Chihuahua. It's halfway
Yeah.
to Colville, and they just have the nicest tours.
And speaking of a new fundraiser for KCHW, $5 for a tour of the KCHW studio.
You are cracking me up. That is too funny. Be like, okay, close your eyes. I'm opening the door. Okay, I'm opening the door.
Hey,
Too funny.
You know what I'm picking up later today that we won at an auction. We've been doing this auction site where it's not whole pallets, it's individual items that are like Amazon returns and stuff. We get stuff really cheap, and my wife has become addicted to it. Honey,
Okay.
you have a problem. You need to stop.
I bet she's so glad you're airing that on the radio.
But one thing we're picking up today, I'm kind of excited about. You see, like you go to like a big fancy event, and there's the red velvet ropes. We're picking up a set of red velvet ropes.
You are cracking me up.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So you can come in.
and
From
get
the
the
parking
real
lot
experience.
through the red velvet ropes
Yeah.
and get your tour of the KCHW
Now you
radio
need that
station for
little
only $5.
that little short red velvet carpet. You can just unroll,
Yeah.
right?
We have a green one by the front door. It's a green carpet.
Yep.
You need a red one now.
And so
Right.
we have some
We do.
comments from Craig McQueen, and we're going to hit those when we get just a little farther.
Yep.
We're going to
Yep.
go through the calendar a little bit more. On the 21st is also a community activity out at the Loon Lake Historical Society, the old
Yes.
schoolhouse.
Yeah, the old
museum.
schoolhouse.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I got to talk to Melissa yesterday, and she's awesome.
She is
so,
awesome.
Right? She's super, super cool. This is going to be a really fun event. It opens at 10, closes at 4 p.m. They have a little gift shop so you can get some commemorative items. I really highly recommend the cookbook. She says they're selling out fast. So if you haven't gotten your little schoolhouse cookbook, you should go and pick one up.
I think she told me they are just about sold out of those.
That's
They
what
were-
I just said. Yeah.
Yeah, they were planning on doing a thing with them later in the summer, possibly some samples and examples of things that are going to be happening.
Well, I told her that she should come on our Wednesday morning show and we should all cook something out of the cookbook. And then we can taste it live out of the recipes and see which one's our favorite.
Well, they are scheduled on their schedule. I believe July 23rd, if I remember
Oh,
correctly.
fun.
So that's a good idea. I like that.
Yeah, yeah.
But yeah, very
Because I
cool.
really want the cookbook, right? And then she's got some other stuff. And they have tours that you can go through too. Sorry, I'll be quiet. And they have some raffles. Anyway, I'll be quiet now.
No, that's
Oh,
good
no,
to
I think
know.
it's great.
And that is not very far away. Even though it says Loon Lake Historical Society, it is not at Loon Lake. Don't go to the wrong town. It's in Valley.
It's a valley, yeah.
Yeah. Not Spokane Valley. It's Valley that's 13 miles south of us.
And it's at the
Valley.
It's at the Valley Fairgrounds.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
Just behind the fairground buildings
Yep.
at the old schoolhouse. Yeah.
And those folks that have been working on this, they've been working on this project for many years, and
Yes.
it's amazing what they've done with this old schoolhouse. It's
Yeah.
really,
Yeah.
it's really neat.
Yeah.
They're going to be joining us at the Friday Market for a couple of weeks too.
Yay. Yeah, for
with
the
raffle
rally.
tickets,
Yeah, the
yeah.
raffles.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Nice. So then we go to Sunday. I think that's all I have for Saturday. Then Sunday we just have All Ages Blues Jam from 4 to 7 at Fired Up Pizza with the dinosaurs. Then Monday, the 23rd, we have pickleball again from 8:30 to 11:30. And this new one that I saw in the Chihuahua paper, which was a single deck pinnacle, 5 p.m. at the Senior Center every Monday.
Oh,
Nice.
you know, there's a you just reminded me. There is a cribbage crew at the golf course.
Yeah, I've heard of that before. They have cribbage tournaments, don't they?
Yeah, you go and you can play cribbage.
The Cribbage Crew. You better watch out for them.
That's what they folks
Do
who
we-
can add really, really well
Do we
and
know
really fast.
when or anything?
I have to. I'll find out and
Okay.
make sure I bring it back in because I'm like, ooh, cribbage. I am a little intimidated though because I play cribbage like a new person. I'm like, here's 15 for 2, 15 for 4, and really good players like have their hand counted like in a second and they're like moving on. I'm like, whoa.
Yeah, yeah. When we
There-
first got married, we played cribbage until I started beating Gino, and then he wouldn't play anymore.
Oh, how funny.
There are a couple games I've never been able to quite understand. It's cribbage and dominoes. I mean,
Really?
outside of setting them up to fall down, I've never really understood the purpose of dominoes. I've been
They're both really good math games.
yeah.
Yeah.
And I
It's
love
just not true
playing.
because I did learn how to play dominoes a while. It's been a long time, but I had
Yeah.
played dominoes a few times.
Yeah.
No, my
not
stepmom taught me how to
difficult.
play. We do the train, right?
Yeah,
Mexican.
yeah.
We do Mexican,
Mexican
train,
train,
with dominoes.
Right.
Yeah, and I just remember we played dominoes at my friend Julie and Greg's house in
Yeah,
up in Arden. Yeah.
Yeah.
it's fun.
It
And
is fun.
also on Monday is the senior potluck from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. So if you're going to do things at the senior center, you can do two things, and you can go for lunch, go home, or go shopping, and then come back for pinnacle.
Very nice. I just
Yeah.
like the name Pinnacle.
Be a full day. Now, see,
Yeah.
Pinnacle is one that I've never been
Well,
able to
and
get my brain around.
and it says single deck, and we always played double deck. And Gino and I played with a couple, a friend of ours, and the girls always played against the boys, and the girls always cheated. So I don't know that I could play single deck and be serious and play it right.
Right?
You know what our favorite card game is that we like bringing to other people's
I think
houses?
cheating is a little fun, though. Okay.
Cheating. Oh, yeah.
We do the table talk and
Right?
all that stuff.
A game called Nertz. Nertz.
Is
I
that what you
think
guys
I've
taught
heard
us how
of
to
that.
play?
Yeah, it's basically you get a bunch of people sitting around a table, and it is combat solitaire. It's basically solitaire rules. You have your little tableau in front of you, but then you also have all of the different decks of cards all
Yes.
commingling in the middle of the table, and you play on top of each other's cards, and the first person to discard their whole deck of cards wins.
Oh my!
And it is fast. It is furious.
It's awesome.
It requires a lot of concentration and a lot of
Yeah.
smack talk.
Right.
And it's a very high energy,
Yeah.
very active. Combat solitaire is the only way that you can describe it.
Now, see, I loved it. I don't know if Xander and Daniel liked it as much because, they didn't. It takes them a little longer to pick up new games like that and be so fast paced. So I was like totally going after Laura, because she was so good. So I'm like,
Yeah.
I'm going to totally squash you. And so I was trying to defeat Laura and keep an eye on Daniel and Xander's hand at the same time because I'm like, okay, play this, play this, play this.
And then I just have ordinary things happening next week during the week, and we'll talk about those again next week. But a week from Saturday, the 28th, the Creamery is having their anniversary.
Yes, it's their
From
second anniversary.
noon to 3. And then on Monday, the 30th, that is KCHW presents Igor and the Red Elvises.
That is correct.
And we're gonna read the comment from Craig.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He says, we need help getting posters out for the June 30th Igor and the Red Elvises show at the Chewelah Center for the Arts. He says he did a bunch yesterday, but definitely needs more hands on deck. So contact Craig directly or contact Chuck, and you could help put up posters.
And then
Well-
Craig also says, please vote for them, Old Souls and
Yes.
Antiques in the Global Citizen to top hitmaker contest. Last time I saw, they were still at 4th, right? So any vote that you give, the first vote is free. And if you want to do additional votes, you have the option to donate, which supports the platform and the event.
Wow, that's kind of a neat way to do it, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah. They're doing really well. I mean, was that nationwide or is that regional?
I thought I heard when they were talking about it, when you guys were talking about it on the radio on Friday, that was a nationwide thing.
I've voted I voted on that quite a few times, but
That
Yeah.
frog is just hopping.
I
I'm
know,
gonna
right?
lean over here so I
Yeah.
stay away, so it stays away from me.
Yeah,
Well,
it's
Craig, let us know if it's nationwide or if it's just a region specific.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure it is nationwide.
Okay, and back to the farmers
Yeah.
market. Katie Darling says there's slingshots with the wrist brace at North 40 in Colville near the ammunition on an aisle cap as of yesterday.
Oh, how
Near
fun.
the ammunition.
That is
That's cute.
awesome.
So there you go. Maybe if someone wants to volunteer to grab a couple of those or have a couple at home. And like
Yeah,
I said, I might run out and grab one. I don't know how much they are, but
Yep.
I
And
don't
then
remember them being very expensive.
I don't think they
Okay.
are.
and then we're looking out a month out just for some highlights.
Yeah. Oh, really quickly, I want to talk about Igor and the Red Elvises.
Oh yes,
Yeah.
yes.
Aside
yes.
from posters, actually, Craig, I was able to get I had someone else come and grab a bunch of posters yesterday to put some out. So we are almost out of posters actually, but we still have a lot of
Wow.
flyers, and those tickets are available at Acres Drug Acres United Valley Drug. They're available online on our KCHW radio Facebook page. Haven't gotten them up on the KCHW.org website yet, but I need to do that.
Yeah.
I need to get
Like,
those to Scott
right
so he can-
away.
Right away.
People want to get their
But
tickets.
they've been available for weeks. If you scan the QR code on the poster, you can go directly to the page to get those, or again go to our Facebook page. There's lots of
Okay,
links
okay.
available for those. I'll get that refreshed. You have to scroll down a little bit. I noticed last night to find them, but I'll get that
Oh
refreshed.
yeah, it's amazing how things drop
It-
out at the bottom.
It really does.
yeah.
Yeah.
But that is going to be an absolutely exciting, fun show. It is a Monday night.
Yeah.
It's a little bit different. I was a little hesitant
Monday
at
night.
first to do a show on a Monday night, but as I'm selling tickets, there's a lot of people, well, I'm busy that weekend. And I say, well, it's on a Monday night. And they say, you know what? I'm free. I will take 2 tickets, please.
Wow.
Oh,
And so the tickets are selling pretty fast.
good.
It's not on the calendar, Chuck.
Yes, it is. Is it not? I've put it on there like 3 times. Oh, you know what it is?
I'm looking at the calendar.
I am struggling with getting the poster to load, and I keep stopping because I can't. The poster's too big to load.
Oh,
Well,
yeah. See,
then put
you
in-
have to do it without the poster, or you
yeah,
go through,
we
you have
just
to
need
do
the
a conversion.
words.
Yep,
yeah.
yep.
Yeah.
Yep, I've done it. I've tried it like 3 times. All right.
Okay, and Craig says nationwide. I've been
Yeah.
watching your votes come in. Thanks to everyone.
Outstanding.
And he also says, let's print more posters. People just want
Yeah, they're great.
them because they are so snazzy.
Yeah, they're cool.
Ha, ha,
I might
ha, he
accidentally
says.
steal one from the radio center.
And Craig, go ahead and post a link to that vote in the comment section so
He
people
did.
can. Oh, did he?
Yeah, it's up on his comment up above.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay, there it
see?
is. Yep. I see it.
Okay.
Okay,
Yeah.
perfect.
Okay,
Thank you,
then
Craig.
Now we're still going out a month.
Right, we're still in July now, right?
Yep, we're in July. July 7th, Stage Time Theater Summer School starts, and it's from 9 to 2 each day. You bring a sack lunch. Monday, come a little early. Come at 8:30 to register. It's called Boxes and Hats.
Yeah, it looks
And-
really cool.
Yeah, they're going to have a fun experience, the kids. They always have a fun experience.
Mm-hmm.
And then they will be performing on the 12th at the city park. 2 different performances. We do not know the times yet, but that's during the
Summerfest.
Summerfest.
Yeah.
And
What is boxes and hats? That makes me think. It rhymes with boxes and cats or kittens and cats. Because
Oh,
to
how
me,
funny.
To me, that makes me think of cats. I think of
Oh.
playing kids and cats.
Oh, how fun.
Boxes and hats, kids and cats.
I had Sharon go through the hats at the center, and now I'm thinking all those hats with the kids and all kinds of fun things that
Yeah.
they can do with all those hats.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
then Debbie just brought in a bunch of hats from her mom, her grandmother.
yeah, yeah. Some of her hats are so nice and so special. We're not gonna let those kids play
Right?
with them.
Oh.
No, the beautiful
Really?
Beautiful
feathers,
hats. Yeah.
and
Yeah,
they're lovely.
yeah, yeah.
I noticed a couple times visiting my folks, going through old childhood photos. No, I hardly have a single childhood photo without me wearing something on my head as a hat, whether it was a bowl or a pot or something I found in the yard.
Oh my
Or
goodness.
I
That's
just
why he
oh,
doesn't have any hair anymore.
I was
He's
not going to
always
say
thinking
that. I
that
thought
it
of
wouldn't
that.
grow.
I was like, no, that would just be mean. I can't say that.
No, almost every picture since I was a kid has something on my head, and it's I never remember doing that. But then I look back at all the pictures, and I'm like, wow. And they're like, yeah, you always had something on your head.
Yeah,
So yeah,
like foreshadowing.
right,
Yeah.
weird, crazy,
Right?
crazy.
So, of course,
All right.
July 12th, going back to Summer Festival, Summerfest.
Yes.
And who is the lineup? Do we know what the music lineup is for that?
We have an amazing lineup. Actually, I can pull it up here really quick.
Yeah.
I didn't have it ready to go, but I just was actually working on it a couple days ago.
Good, because I don't have it.
He hasn't posted it.
Oh, well, that's why.
That would be why.
Well.
Yeah, but it's going to be amazing. And are you still wanting some Shakespeare people for that?
Maybe actually, I'm not-
Right?
possibly.
Yeah. I was
We'll
gonna
have
say
to.
you
We'll
had
have
a
to.
spot. Yeah.
Yeah. We'll have to work it in.
Okay.
All right. So we have Craig McQuain is actually putting together a singer showcase.
Nice.
Made up of his best karaoke singers.
Nice.
From all the karaoke. So that's going to be fun. That's going to be kicking things off from 10:15 to 11:15 for the first hour. Then from 11:45 to 12:45, we had her on the show. Danny Bacon
Oh, she's
is
good.
going to be singing. She's amazing, and she's actually
Yeah.
bringing her whole band.
Oh, fun.
So a wonderful, wonderful young up and coming country singer.
Yes.
That's going to be a lot of fun. Then from 1:30 to 2:45, we have Planetary Refugees,
Oh, they
which-
are a lot of fun.
which I'm really excited about.
Yep.
Again, we had Richard on the show here. There's a theme here. All these people have been on our show. All right.
Right.
Then from 3:15 to 4:15, another one I'm very excited about. Zach Pass
Ooh,
is
yeah,
going to be
he's good.
performing. He is
Yep.
really good. How did he describe his music? Like, it's basically like acoustic rock versions.
It was a really unique, yeah.
Yeah. I wish I could remember how he describes his
Yeah,
music.
I can't remember.
But yeah.
Really good. Really enjoyed him.
Yeah, and it's like almost like a soulful hard rock sort of thing with an acoustic twist.
It wasn't
on
hard to listen to. It was really easy to
Yeah,
listen to.
no, really,
Yeah.
he's got a beautiful voice,
Yeah.
and he's really, really a wonderful guy.
Yeah.
All right, then we're gonna have the Stevens County Stompers. They're gonna be doing a show during the break there between 4:15 and 5, and then from 5 to 6, I'm very excited to have this young man up on stage, the winner of Chihuahua's Got Talent
Oh, fun.
2025, Matthew Tippich. He's gonna be playing for an hour.
Oh, nice.
Now, when I contacted them to say, okay, what do we need for you to set up? His mom is his agent,
Yeah.
and she's like, okay, well, he's bringing
I was
a
gonna-
key.
Is he bringing his family?
He's bringing he's bringing a keyboard,
Nice.
and he's bringing a banjo and a guitar and an accordion and this and this, and she started. I'm like, okay, we only have an hour. So
But
yeah,
his whole family sings. Like, is he going to bring his sisters as backup singers? Is he going to?
actually, I don't know. I didn't talk to him about that. I think
Right?
it's just gonna
Because
be
remember,
Matthew.
she said that the funny story with Matthew Tippett is when they were as a family, he never sang. The sisters sang. And so when he went to music college, they had him singing all the time. And his mom was like, yeah, we didn't realize he could sing so well because he didn't sing. It was the girls who sang.
Interesting.
Yeah, that's why I'm like, ooh, I'd love to see the girls. I'd love to see his sisters with him.
That would be fun.
Right?
But he is bringing the heat. He's bringing everything.
I'm excited.
And that's gonna be a fun show. He's really gotten. I've really gotten to enjoy knowing that young man. He's got a bright future ahead of him.
And then like a tidbit somewhere in there of Shakespeare.
Yeah. We'll work it in. We'll work it in.
Whack, whack.
And so these are just tidbits and teasers to let
Yeah.
you know that you don't want to miss that
Oh
weekend.
no, yeah.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
you want to be in Chewila for 2 weekends.
And then we have
Yeah, I'm
Infusion,
gonna talk
local
about
jazz funk fusion band from 6:30 to 7:30, and kicking things off at the end of the night, we are welcoming back Nate Ostrander to be
Ooh,
our headliner
nice.
for the show, and hopefully he'll get some folks sticking around to the end because he is amazing.
He's very, very
Yeah.
cool.
If you missed his show here, he did it at the theater. You're not going to want to miss this one. This is his new album that he's doing the songs from. Really, really phenomenal guy, and he will knock your socks off.
Right?
He's incredible. And we brought him back. He was here for Winterfest last year. Only about 5 or 6 people got to see him because it was freezing.
It was really, really cold.
What's the opposite of hot?
Huh?
What's the opposite of hot?
Cold. It was freezing.
it got
and we
cold
were
enough-
like trying to bebop, and we were so cold it was not bebop, and it was like
Well, and the band was having their fingers were cramping around their instruments.
freezing, and they couldn't feel the
Yeah,
strings. It
yeah,
was like,
so-
oh, this is bad.
It's like, all right, guys, let's just cut it short, and we'll bring him back. We'll bring him back for the next festival.
So
here we
wonderful
go.
Summerfest, and then the next weekend.
Yes. You know, I was telling him at Chamber about some of the things that we've got going this summer, and one of the things I said is that we used to take the summer off, but then we've gotten new directors like Paula who've brought us fantastic things for the summer. And July 19th and 20th, Center Stage Productions, William Shakespeare's The Tempest, 4
Yes.
p.m., free admission in the green behind the Center for the Stage building along the creek. We're going to try to tell the mosquitoes they're not welcome. We're
Right? We
you-
have plans. Yeah.
Oh, good.
We have
Are
plans.
you gonna fog the area first?
Gonna fog the area. We're gonna have those torches, along the creek side so that they're lit. So we'll have those started about, half an hour before the show starts.
Awesome.
And they should be lit the entire time. Last year the mosquitoes were not too bad at 4. We didn't
Okay.
get eaten alive. The only people who
Because
really
it was
had
105 degrees, and the mosquitoes were like, "Nope, we're gonna go somewhere
No,
else."
but not in the. That's just it. Not by the creek, and
No,
that's
it
what's
wasn't.
really important to know is that one of the reasons why the spot is so perfect, especially for high summer,
Yes.
is that the trees are there, the creek is there, and so the trees provide shade all the way across the green. The creek kind of provides this nice, cool air coming in. And then also the trees, they weep. They have that wonderful kind of rain.
Yeah.
And that feels
The
nice and
weeping willows.
refreshing.
Yeah.
So it's actually a lovely spot. And even though it was hot last year, sitting there underneath the tree line, it was not hot. It was warm. And, it certainly wasn't 70 degrees, but you didn't feel like you were going to die.
Well, and
it was much better than being outside.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
Than
Oh,
being
yeah.
out in the
Just
park in the sun. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And our Saturday crew, which we have a group of regulars
amazing
who
crew.
come every Saturday morning and do mainly their job is to do improvements to the building. But they occasionally help with production items. And one of the things they're working on and they've got almost finished is they are moving the fence
Yes.
to make it
Yeah.
a larger seating area. And
Yeah.
it's really, they got the gates in last week,
Yep.
and they'll be finishing the fence, this week.
I drove by
That's awesome.
yesterday because I was like, okay, how is it going back here? And I felt so bad because I wasn't able to be there last weekend. And it looks like they are doing a great job. They've
Yep.
got the outer fence is still up, of course, but that new fence on the inside, they've already got the posts in. And so the concrete is set, and they'll be moving probably the actual fencing this coming Saturday. And I am just
We hope.
So incredibly
Yeah.
grateful for the Saturday crew. I'm so incredibly grateful for all of the people supporting the Tempest.
Yeah.
I have such an amazing support system. I have, Melissa Curie is doing my sets and set design, and she is amazing and so patient.
Right.
She started building the sets, and then, we started talking, and it turns out that she had a completely different view than I did. She's like, Paula, how could you, this is what we talked about. And I had the exact same picture, and I had it visualized in a completely different way. And I'm like, well, yes, but this is this, and this is this. And she's like, no, this is this, and this is this. So I'm glad that we got on the same page. And I'm so grateful for her for being so patient with me.
I love the look on your face when you say she's so patient.
Oh, well, when you have something so crystal clear in your own mind and you think you've communicated it so well, and then somebody else you're talking to and their face just does that. What are you talking about? They get that look and you're like, uh-oh.
You just described my relationship with my wife.
Oh, no.
Which is why in the theater we need pictures.
Yes.
When we are doing costumes, we want directors to give us storyboards. We call them, pictures, a big board with all the pictures on it, or a book with pictures.
What if I can't draw?
Well,
yeah, get them off the internet if you have ideas of
Right.
costumes that you want, because some directors show us pictures on their phone and then they walk away with their phone, and we say, "What was that
again?"
she
Yeah.
wanted?"
Here, guys, look at this that I want. Have a good day.
Oh, no. Yeah, Gail is phenomenal. Gail and Sharon have been doing the costumes for me, and I didn't have pictures. I'm just like, okay, I wanted to do this, and I want this to overlay like this. And my intentions were to have pictures, and I didn't get them done. So, yes, huge support. So, Melissa and Gail and Sharon, and then, of course, the Saturday crew.
Mm-hmm.
I have my wonderful assistant director, Laura, who's been phenomenal. I have my stage manager, Mariana. We have our video and photographer, Elaine. So, yep, I know. Okay. Shakespeare, 19th and 20th, The Tempest. It's going to be amazing.
It is going to be amazing.
It is. And we're going to talk about it more and more every Wednesday and other days of the week, too, because Paula's here a couple days a week, and she's going to just talk and talk and talk about it.
I'm excited about this one, and I talked about this a little bit at our first meeting. I have a part in the play. I wouldn't even call it a small part. It's
It's actually
part.
a really important part. Yeah.
And my I talked a little bit about my uncle. He passed away a couple years ago. I didn't meet him till later in life, circumstances and all that. And he was actually a founder of the Ashland Shakespeare
That's what you
company.
said. That is so cool.
Like one of the biggest, most famous Shakespeare companies.
Yeah. In Oregon.
He was with that group. He was a founding member of the Seattle Repertory Theater.
Wow.
Come to find out, my family lineage is artists and performers and musicians and actors. And I had no idea because my grandfather killed the creative line of the Ritchie family.
Wow.
And, my
Well,
uncle,
apparently not.
it filled me in all this rich history of my family going back hundreds of years, being performers and actors. And that was our family name was Performers. And
That's awesome.
That's nice.
And he passed away last year, and I'm kind of doing this in honor of him. So really looking forward to it. I wasn't able to do it last year. Way too much stuff going on.
Yeah.
But this year,
I'm happy to have you. You're doing great. So we've got a phenomenal cast.
This year, way too much stuff going on, but I didn't want to miss it.
Well, and then we're going to go into the next week of July.
Yeah.
And, well, maybe it's a week and a half after.
Yeah, at the end of July.
The end of July. The 31st and through August 2nd, the Teen Conservatory is putting on Anne of Green Gables.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
And they've cast that, and it's a real strong, really good cast.
Amazing cast.
Yeah.
And they're going to do that one in the round.
They
Yes.
are
Yeah,
in the
which is
round. That will be
incredible.
interesting.
Yeah, that's a really bold way to put on the show.
It is.
Yeah.
And it's such a great experience for the audience because you feel immersed in the actual play. You feel like the interactive value is so high. So it's going to be really exciting.
Yeah, and everybody almost gets a front row seat.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You're not stuck in the back. Yeah,
And for
so-
the actors, what a unique experience and
Oh,
a
yeah.
challenging experience for the
mhm.
actors.
I acted in one in the round, and it was, the director kept saying, you can only so many seconds facing this way, and then so many seconds.
Yeah.
You just have to keep turning, and you keep talking to your audience, and it was a real learning experience. Yeah.
In some ways it's challenging, and in other ways it probably feels more natural because when you're on a stage, you're trying to face your audience the whole time. That actually is something that you have to work at as well because you're that's not natural for you to face one direction the whole time when you're having a conversation. But
Right.
Yeah.
but this way, maybe it actually might feel a little more natural to the actors.
It
Maybe
might, yeah.
it help with their
Yeah.
To
performance.
see, yeah.
It'll
Yeah.
be fun to see the kids do that. 'Cause
All right,
Yeah.
and before we go on our break, because
Yep.
we're really late for our
We are.
break, I did try and find information about our Legion, American Legion, and they don't have anything posted for events or a poster for anything going on Friday, but they usually do have food going on every Friday.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
So I didn't find anything.
Okay.
They always do fundraisers for different organizations.
They do, they do.
Maybe one week they'll do a KCHW dinner.
Just ask, right?
Yeah,
We
you
should.
have to be over there doing it. They just let
Yeah.
you use the building.
Oh,
yeah,
okay,
yeah,
okay,
yeah.
okay.
So
I
you,
got
Nice
you.
try.
but you've got enough people following you that are good cooks and that would be able to do that for you.
Right.
Yeah. Ooh, that
Yeah.
would be fun.
Yeah.
That would be fun. All right. So with that said, we're going to go ahead and take our break. We're running a little bit behind. We got to listen to some news and thank our sponsors. We'll be right back after the break. Stay tuned, everybody.
It's 8:22.
Your KCHW morning show is made possible by donations from
Colville Toyota. Colville Toyota, located at 160 West 3rd Avenue in Colville, offers new and used vehicle sales and service. Vehicle sales is open 8:30 a.m. till 7 p.m. Monday through Saturday, with a Toyota Express Maintenance Center open 7:30 a.m. till 6 p.m. Monday through Friday. More information on Colville Toyota's vehicle inventory and services is available at colvilletoyota.com. A small-town dealership with a big heart.
And by
Chihuahua Flooring.
Chihuahua Flooring at 214 East Clay in the 3rd Street Mall offers a wide variety of products including carpet, ceramic and porcelain tile, vinyl and laminate planks, and vinyl sheet flooring. Chihuahua Flooring carries products for both commercial businesses and residential homes, including brands like National Flooring, Dell Tile, Mannington, and Mohawk. They also offer blind repair. For more information, you can visit online at chihuahuaflooring.com, call 509-935-8021, or via email at chihuahuaflooring@gmail.com.
This is KCHW 102.7.
The Public News Service Daily Newscast, June the 18th, 2025. I'm Mike Clifford. Donald Trump posted on social media that the United States knows the location of Iran's supreme leader. He added the U.S. would not kill Khomeini, but he called for Iran's unconditional surrender. That from The Guardian. They quote Trump on his social media platform posting, "We know exactly where the so-called supreme leader is hiding. He is an easy target, but is safe there. We're not going to take him out, kill, at least not for now." And from the Associated Press, New York City Controller and Democratic mayoral candidate Brad Lander was arrested by federal agents at an immigration court Tuesday after he linked arms with a person authorities were attempting to detain. Lander was released from custody after a few hours. The U.S. Attorney's Office said it was investigating his actions. Meantime, a federal proposal moving through Congress would stall Michigan's booming rooftop solar industry by ending key tax credits that have fueled clean energy growth nationwide.
What's being called the One Big Beautiful Bill Act would eliminate 30% credit for rooftop solar and other home energy systems, including those leased by companies. Michigan leads the nation in Inflation Reduction Act funded projects, attracting more than $27 billion in investment and creating over 26,000 jobs. Alan O'Shea, CEO of 50-year-old CBS Solar in Kokemish, says 90% of his family-owned business is residential rooftop solar.
That 90%
would lose one of the benefits that go with solar, and that's 30% tax credit. The other 10% of our business is commercial, and it would still survive, but the damage would be done. We're talking 25-plus employees here.
O'Shea says he sent a heartfelt letter to most senators expressing concern about the bill's impact on his livelihood and others. Supporters of the tax cut and spending bill argue that it would boost the economy and strengthen national security. Crystal Blair reporting.
And the Environmental Protection Agency has big plans to review what some see as the health risks of fluoride in drinking water, as the agency considers changes to its Safe Drinking Water Act standards. Critics of the attention on fluoride say it comes at the expense of focusing on nitrate, a known contaminant.
Nitrates are present in Iowa's ground and surface water, largely from factory farm manure runoff. University of Iowa environmental contamination expert David Swiertney says if the EPA plans to review fluoride in drinking water, it should do the same for nitrate.
Regardless of what my feelings are on fluoride, they should at least apply a uniform standard to how they want to reevaluate new science. And it would seem that there's a pretty compelling case that we need to reevaluate new science on nitrate just as much, if not more so, than what we need to be doing on fluoride.
Fluoride in drinking water has largely proven safe and effective at preventing tooth decay for decades, but investigating it is part of Health and Human Services Secretary Robert F. Kennedy Jr.'s plans to take a broader look at the nation's food and water supply. I'm Mark Moran.
This is Public News Service. Central Georgia's Macon-Bibb County is shaking up its approach to public safety by confronting a long-standing problem: people stuck in jail simply because they can't afford to get out.
Mayor Lester Miller introduced the new reform plan, which he says aims to make the system more efficient and more supportive of long-term community safety. He says the goal isn't to offer a get-out-of-jail-free card, but to ensure the system is more fair while still being smart on crime.
We must eliminate a two-tier justice system where individuals who can afford it are at home, while those that cannot are in jail.
He says one way to do this is to cover the cost of ankle monitors for nonviolent offenders. Shantia Hudson reporting.
Next, Colorado is already considered a national leader in workforce development and now is aiming to raise the bar even higher.
Governor Jared Polis recently issued an executive order calling on state agencies to create a more integrated system that meets learners where they are so they can access the education and training they need to get good jobs in Colorado's evolving economy. Dr. Angie Piccioni with the Colorado Department of Higher Education says the challenge is to restructure siloed agencies and initiatives and design a system that works even better.
Bring together the best of what each individual division and department is doing and bring it together in a way that's going to make it easier for individuals to navigate and also ultimately get the skills and training that they need for the jobs that they want.
Colorado ranks first nationally, tied with Massachusetts, for its percentage of residents who have a credential or degree beyond high school, but there's room for improvement. There are currently 2 available jobs for every unemployed person in the state. More than 90% of top-paying jobs require some form of post-secondary education, but just half of graduating seniors are signing up for college or certificate programs, well below the national average of 61%. I'm Eric Galatis.
And June is Alzheimer's and Brain Awareness Month. New research examines the connection between dementia and awareness about money management skills.
Binghamton University's Ian McDonough co-authored a new study that says people with dementia aren't aware if they're making errors in handling their bank accounts and other financial tasks. For those without cognitive decline, that awareness improved over time.
When you're aware of those declines, you can adapt. You can ask for help. You can use calculators. If you're not aware, you might be going on your daily business, doing some mental arithmetic, and then that's when those errors might be introduced.
McDonough says that increases their vulnerability to fraud at a time when Americans, including older adults, are losing more money to scammers. He says preventative efforts by caregivers are important so people with dementia can avoid being taken advantage of and still have some autonomy over their finances. I'm Mike Moen.
This is Mike Clifford for Public News Service, member and listener supported. Find our trust indicators at publicnewsservice.org.
For the Daily Yonder and Public News Service, this is the news from rural America. Electric vehicles are selling in rural America, but charging them can be tricky. The Daily Yonder found that 45% of rural counties had at least one fast EV charging port, compared to more than 75% of metropolitan counties, with the Trump administration cutting funds that would close that gap. Lauren McDonald with EV analytics firm Perrin says it's a catch-22.
The deck is stacked against those rural areas because there aren't A, the trends, and B, the economic viability to motivate private industry to put them there.
There are now some 60,000 fast-charging ports nationwide, but Congress is poised to end tax credits for buying an EV, as well as support for building out the charging network.
There are some things that literally require government help, or otherwise it's never going to happen.
Meanwhile, EV sales are still on the rise in the U.S. A mental health group says it's focusing on early childhood education in 7 states to build comprehensive support for community mental health and well-being. LaMeda will partner with Save the Children's rural early educators with what they call an ecological approach. Lynn Knox with LaMeda says supporting caregivers will help with Save the Children's goal of kids reading by 3rd grade.
We partner with organizations like Save the Children to make sure that their staff has the training and the tools necessary.
Knox says the ecological approach recognizes that community, family, and economic stress impacts children's well-being and can burn out the adults who care for them.
Being able to support them allows us to then support the communities.
More than 2/3 of U.S. mental health care deserts are in rural or partially rural communities. A once segregated Mississippi movie theater is getting a new life. Anya Slepian explains.
The historic Paramount Theater in downtown Clarksdale was abandoned in the 90s, but along with an empty department store, the space is being transformed by Griot Arts, a local nonprofit. Rebecca Pleasant Patterson is the executive director.
We need more spaces. We need more opportunities to engage with our youth and our community members to tell their own stories.
The theater was segregated for nearly 50 years, and the metal stairway that served as the entrance for Black patrons is still standing. Griot Arts Deputy Director Ben Lewis says addressing this history up front is a critical part of the project.
How do we take a place that was built to be segregated and turn it into a place where everybody feels not just welcome, but they have a place at the table that it was set for them?
I'm Anya Slepian.
For the Daily Yonder and Public News Service, I'm Roz Brown. For more rural stories, visit dailyyonder.com.
KCHW 102.7. We make it so easy to listen to Northern Lights Public Radio. Of course, in your car. Online through our websites at kchw.org or northernlightspublicradio.com. We're on your smartphone, too. Use the Radio Deck or TuneIn app. And now we're even on Amazon. If you've got the new Amazon Echo with the Alexa app, just say, "Alexa, play KCHW," and boom, you're there. We're mixing it up. Old school radio or new modern technology. It's always KCHW 102.7.
All right now. Come on, boy. Yeah. Good boy. Yeah.
Yeah. Good morning, everybody. Welcome back to the KCHW Morning Show.
Those horses, they got in here.
They got
They
in.
did. That was an exciting break.
That was an exciting break. Yep.
Knocked over my almost entirely full, massive coffee cup, and the coffee went everywhere. You know, this is why we don't put coffee on the table next to the actual mixing board and all the more expensive equipment.
Right.
Well, and you had a lid on it, too.
I know.
Yeah, that's
And you know,
weird.
I knock that thing over all the time accidentally, and usually the lid actually stays on pretty well, and I just spill a little bit. But this time that lid went plopping right
flying.
Yeah.
Got all over Sharon's fancy dancy notebook.
Yeah, that 3-ring binder.
I'm sorry, Sharon.
That's okay.
Right?
Can you say fancy dancy notebook? Is that copyrighted from the kids show? No?
I do
Maybe.
not
I have
know.
no idea.
I don't know.
You guys don't even know what I'm talking about.
No, we don't. We're out in La La Land here.
Right?
Well, and thank you guys for doing the cleanup on that while I was running around the studio trying to find paper towels and cleaning sprays and everything. That was an exciting break, everybody. All right, let's get back on with the show. Now, Paula, you said in honor of the cherry splat,
Yes.
you have some stuff to run us through.
I did. I have to find them
Is
again.
it gone?
So trivia for you, Chuck. How many types of cherries are there?
I'm guessing there's 3,627.
Now you're a little over.
Okay.
But it did say over 1,000 varieties of cherries.
Yeah.
Over 1,000. Wow.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Where is that?
You know,
there was a great visual that had all the cherries, all the most common
Well, just
types.
X out that.
Right.
And there it is.
No, this is
This is not it.
I find it incredible. A couple weeks ago, I was in, what was the name of the little town I was in? I was over by Olympia.
Olympia. Tenino.
Tenino, thank you.
You're welcome.
And there was a lovely little farmer's market there because, if I see a farmer's market, I'm going. The most amazing cherries were there, and they were some of the best cherries I've had in my life. They were still firm, but they tasted like candy. Like I had candy with me, gummy candy, like the Gushers, and I put them down because these cherries were sweeter and better than the candy. And I didn't realize, you come back here and the cherries. Our neighbor has a cherry tree. They're just little tiny little things. It's amazing the difference between what's in season just in the other side of the same state and what's in season over here. And we are still quite a bit of ways from our cherries here being ready to pick.
Well, there's even a big difference between here and over on the Columbia River, like at Hunter's. They can grow things over there that we can't grow here.
Wow.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah, we had friends that lived in Hunter's, and she would bring us cantaloupe that was so good.
Ooh.
And I've never been able to grow a decent cantaloupe.
Oh, yeah. I can't either.
Yeah, not a long enough growing season, so.
I grow weeds. I'm really good at growing weeds.
Oh,
that's about all I can do.
You are famous for that.
I am.
Weeds are just flowers that people don't like.
But you know what I did do when going through my yard? So we have the creek that runs through our backyard, and usually I trim that creek up, really nice and neat, and have it go from the grass all the way down into the creek.
Yeah.
This year I noticed that all along the creek are the most beautiful little tiny little blue and yellow flowers, and I'm leaving those.
Yeah.
I just went up the weeds in the yard, and I'm leaving all those flowers, and I hope they don't choke off the creek. But
right.
But
well,
they're
there's
gorgeous,
a lot
and
of
I'm leaving
flowers that people call like forget-me-nots. They just come up spontaneously different places, and people call them a weed. And there's other flowers. My father-in-law used to he'd get so mad about these flowers that were in his peonies and stuff. And the neighbor lady across the alley, she just loved those, and she had a little patch of them, and so they probably came from her to him, but two different people thinking a wildflower is a weed, or a wildflower is a flower to cultivate.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, and my dream is to have my entire yard, and this used to be standard for yards, but to have a clover yard. Mm-hmm. And I know clover is the bane of a lot of people's existence. People want that beautiful golf course lawn. But up until fairly recently, up until what the 40s or 50s, clover was what your yard was made out of. It's soft. You can walk on it. It smells beautiful.
You don't have to mow it.
You don't have to mow it.
You have to be careful of bees.
You do have to be careful of the bees because the bees love it. But the alternative, the other hand of that is the bees love it, and it's a really great source. And I just did a report a couple days on our local news about Washington State's going through some pretty serious bee colony collapse issues right now. Yeah.
They had what are the bee pollen? The bee people? What are they called again?
The
beekeepers.
Beekeepers. Yeah, I thought they were like the name, but they reported that this past winter and spring they lost over 50% of their colonies, everywhere. So they're not quite sure what happened. They don't know if it was a disease that they didn't catch or what happened, but this was a hard winter, spring for bees.
Yeah, and luckily.
It's a big deal.
So there was over on the other side of the state, there was the truck that overturned recently. Did you see that story?
Mm-hmm.
Luckily, most of the bees did return to their colonies, and they were okay.
Yeah, they found the queens.
Yeah.
So they were able to salvage all those that spilled from the truck. So yeah, big deal. It's a big deal. It's a really big deal.
It is.
Yeah.
So keep your flowers growing.
Yes.
Keep a patch anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And another thing we have to be careful of, we have so regularly, my words are now gone. The coffee spilling has taken my ability to communicate.
Now we're all sticky.
I know, right?
Yeah.
But the a lot of the flowers, like people are buying butterfly bushes and things like that from Home Depot, but they've been sprayed. They've been chemically treated, and it actually is killing the very pollinators you're trying to attract.
Wow.
So be really careful. Make sure that the plants you're purchasing for, support of our pollinators, our bees, have not been treated with something. Make sure that they are safe.
Earlier, we'd walk under our maple tree, and it just buzzed bzzz from all the bees. And now I walk by the raspberry bushes, and they're going bzzz. They're just full of bees. It's really fun.
That's incredible.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, our maple trees were singing this year. I've never heard them that loud.
Oh, yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah.
We have a horse chestnut tree in our front yard that it is the most hideous, gnarled, ugly, old-looking tree, and I really love it. It's my Halloween tree. When the leaves fall off in the fall, it looks like hands reaching out at you. It's really kind of creepy. But in the spring, when it flowers, it for some reason specifically attracts bumblebees.
Nice.
And that whole tree, you can feel it. Your whole body is shaking when you walk under that tree because it has thousands of big fat bumblebees in it, and they just buzz and hum that whole tree, and you can hear it inside the house. It's incredible.
That's
I love
cool.
it. Yeah.
Well, speaking of cherry spots, I did find some information about the cherries. Not the beautiful picture that I had found before. But make sure it's not still up here somewhere.
It's not right here? Oh. Okay.
Yeah, we had I did a search and I can't find it.
That's negative 3 points for you.
Huh?
Yeah.
That's negative 3 points for you.
Oh, I had it up if you had spilled all the things.
Yeah.
So I don't know what I did here.
How about images?
How did coffee spilling reset what was on your screen?
Because we had to lift up the screen and we moved everything around. And we were,
Yeah.
Oh.
I think, is this what it was? Types of cherries? Was it this?
I don't know.
Look at this one. Okay, well, anyway, there are 32 types of Maine cherries. There are thousands of different types of cherries, but the common ones that we usually find are these 32 Maine cherries. Now, what's really exciting is I used to work with the son of the farmer who invented the Rainier cherries.
Really?
Yes.
Wow.
And so every year we would get a, what do they call them? The big boxes?
A flat?
Flats of cherries from his dad, who would ship, flats to his son, and then he would distribute them to the rest of his team. So it was really, really cool, and that was the Rainier cherry.
No offense to the other cherries, but the Rainier cherry is the far superior cherry.
Well, I'm just saying, I know the guy. I know a guy. So we have the North Star cherry.
So are you going to get cherries for us here, your co-workers?
No,
is
I don't
that
work
what I'm
with
asking
him
you?
anymore. I know that relationship is gone. That was back when I was in my IT days, and I was working at Compaq, and so
I'm disappointed.
I know, right? You can imagine how it felt when I no longer worked there, and boy, I missed that flat of cherries coming in.
The Rainier cherry is the Honeycrisp of cherries.
Right?
Yeah.
Oh, so good, so good. All right, so we have the North Star cherry, we have cornelian cherries, we have black cherries. We have choke cherries. Oh, these are different types of cherries. Here's the Bing cherry.
So back to choke cherries. Choke cherries grow around here, wild, and you can drive on some of the back roads. But if you eat one raw, they go and choke you. But my grandma would make choke cherry pancake syrup, and so when we were younger and had kids at home, I would make choke cherry pancake syrup. It is really good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was going to say, I've had choke cherry jelly or something that they have had that's really, really good.
Yeah,
It's not red like other cherries. It's a dark purple color, and it grows in the wild and is an essential food for wildlife. So parts of the shrub were used medicinally by indigenous peoples. The tea from the choke cherry plant can fight minor cold and cough symptoms as well as more serious conditions.
Yep.
Wow.
So, it's actually really valuable, but it's kind of like the Oregon grape. You don't want to eat the grapes right off the plant. They're too bitter.
Yeah.
But they're great for jellies. They're great for syrups. They're great for lots of other things.
Yep. Yep.
So we have the Bing cherry, which is probably the most well-known cherry. That's that bright red cherry, and that's the one that we generally see at the farmers markets and things like that. The fruit contains antioxidants and vitamins such as A and C. So it's awesome. We have the pin cherries.
I'm just saying, last week I did buy Rainier cherries at our farmer's market.
I'm going to say, they've got lots of different cherries on this one. Do they have the Rainier cherries? Going down, going down. Oh, there it is. Okay. So we have a sand cherry and pin cherries. I haven't heard of these before.
No. Well, and the sand cherry it's purple.
Yeah, it looks really dark.
Yeah.
Dark red. It's a wild cherry. Ooh, that's cool. The fruit ripens midsummer, making perfect for summer desserts like cherry ice cream. People use it to make fruit jams, and if you wanted to preserve it for later, you can also dry it. Oh, interesting.
And it says you can enjoy it raw without special preparation, which means that it's not that sour stuff.
Yeah, it must not be as tart.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, some states list the sand cherry as an endangered or threatened plant. So interesting. The pin cherry is also really fascinating to me because it's not commercially grown. They're wild, and they have to be foraged. They naturally appear in certain regions of Canada and the United States.
And this is the pin cherry you're talking about right now?
Yeah.
The pin cherries, they're small. They look like grapes, actually, to
me,
don't they?
They do look like grapes.
Yeah, they're great for creating jams and jellies because of the slightly tart flavor. This type of cherry is tiny, with the average pin cherry's diameter being less than half an inch across. So
it's like picking huckleberries.
Yeah, they'd be small. So what would that be, like a nickel, you think? Nickel-sized?
Yeah.
Half an inch? That'd be
I
probably...
think nickel's pretty big, isn't
I'd say dime.
Dime, yeah. So very interesting. It says that no wonder that the pin cherry attacks many type of wildlife. For example, moose, deer, and birds. That makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
And then here's another one that I haven't heard of. The Nanking cherry. Have you heard of that one?
No.
Nanking?
Yeah, Nanking.
But I like the name.
Right? It says it grows on a shrub and it's native to Asia, but it has become popular in the United States because of its charming foliage and flavorful cherries.
Oh.
The fruit's taste is slightly puckery.
They look like raw. They look like the maraschino cherries.
They do.
They're
They
that
do.
sort of bright pinkish red. Yeah.
Yeah, but they must taste a lot different because it says really tart. It says creating a homemade cherry tart with this type of cherry will undoubtedly give you a decadent dessert.
Ooh.
Although you can enjoy it raw if you don't mind that bit of tang. Interesting. The Turkish sweet cherry, these look like a beautiful bright red cherry.
Yeah, and look at how big they look on his hand.
Yeah, they look huge. They're like at the thumb size. They're really big.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's known for its sugary flavor and succulent texture, which makes the cherry understandably loved. This type of cherry is also called, what would you say, 0900 Zerat variety? Why would you say that?
I don't know.
Okay, well, that's why I said it.
Yep. And that sounds good.
The Turkish sweet cherry is large compared to other cherries. And rather than being a radiant red color, the cherries are a deeper shade of red once they're fully mature. Interesting. It's not uncommon to juice them. They're so big. Isn't that interesting?
Yeah.
All right. Here we have some more regular-looking cherries. The early Richmond cherry is one of the many cherries that thrive in the United States, like Illinois and Kansas. Did you know that many cherries are grown in the Midwest because the climate there is like heaven for a tart cherry tree? I didn't know that.
Yeah, it says it needs cold winters and average summer temperatures in order to flourish. So it doesn't it needs the extremes, kind of.
Yeah, it sounds like it. And it also says these are harvested 7 days earlier than other types of cherries. And they're plump, and they have a pleasant but strong cherry taste.
Oh, which cherries are these?
These are the Richmond cherries.
The Richmond cherries, okay.
And then we have a fan favorite, the Rainier cherries.
Yes.
This is the kind of the yellow cherry, although most
sort of the
cherries...
mottled yellows and reds. Yeah.
Yes. This type of cherry only has traces of red, with the majority of the fruit being yellow. With its fascinating golden appearance, the Rainier cherry is perfect for garnishing desserts and beverages. In addition to its distinct look, the fruit's flavor is exceptionally delightful. Yay! You can credit the Bing cherry and Van cherry for their Rainier cherry's high-quality taste, because the Rainier is a hybrid of the two.
Cool.
You can harvest this fruit between the spring and summer months earlier than other types of cherries. So, yeah, they should be out now. The reindeer cherries should be out now.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, they are. That's what I got when we were in Tenino. I got a bag of Rainier cherries.
Oh, cool.
And
yeah.
they were so sweet and so they popped. They still had that firmness to them. And the ones I got here, it was a couple weeks later, so they were a little not as firm.
Yeah.
Not quite as sweet, maybe because they pick them earlier and let them sit. But yeah. Still delicious. I still love them.
Really good. And then, did you think that your maraschino cherries just were like that off the tree?
No. I do have a little bit there about maraschino cherries.
Sure, go for it.
Yeah. So to continue our cherry education today, the maraschino cherries generally are brined and artificially colored. The traditional bright red maraschino cherry that you see in the store, I call them the cheap cherries. Not a fan of the maraschino cherry myself, but they are made of a mixture of cherries, including the Royal Anne Rainier and gold cherries, but most typically is the Marasca cherry. Now, the bright colored ones that you see, again, they are soaked in sugar syrup. They're dyed with artificial red dye with a artificial almond flavoring generally. But other brands, like, and I'm going to say the name Luxardo, and these are the ones that I like to use when I make a beverage. So the Luxardo cherries, they use the more traditional maraschino. They are a traditional maraschino cherry. The ones that we see in the stores most of the time are a modern technique. They're done quicker. They're mass produced. These ones are a more traditional preservation method that are actually soaked in a maraschino liquor, which is where maraschino cherries come from, and they are a darker, richer red, and they maintain their natural color.
Yeah, I worked with a friend who was from Oregon when I worked at the college down at Cheney, and he said their cherries would come in from California, and then they would do all this, and they'd come in green, and then they'd do all this processing to them, and then they'd bottle them, and so they could say that they were made in Oregon. But they were grown in California.
Huh.
Isn't that interesting?
Yeah.
I love this description of maraschino cherries. These ultra-sweet, generic-tasting nostalgia bombs are so much more than the near-neon orbs we've grown up on. What a great description.
Wow.
That is hysterical.
Well, I'm not a huge fan of the bright pink ones, but the more traditional made ones are phenomenal. But you got to be careful because you can't eat a lot of them because they are
full of alcohol.
Well, they do have alcohol, but they're also very, very insanely expensive.
Wow, yeah.
Yeah, like the Luxardo cherries. I think they're almost $30 for a little tiny jar of them.
Oh my!
They're great. That's why you do like one or two in a beverage. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. And keep them away from the kids because the kids do like them. They have very small amounts of alcohol, like trace amounts, but very delicious.
Well, I'm learning about cherries I did not know existed, like the Spanish cherry. Have you ever seen that one?
It looks like Christmas light bulbs.
It looks exactly like Christmas light bulbs.
Yeah.
It does. This cherry tree is noteworthy because people can use it for medicinal and culinary purposes. The fruit is light red, almost orange, and has a mild flavor that's not overly bitter or sweet. And the Spanish cherry is egg-shaped. It really does look like a Christmas light bulb.
Yeah.
Another name for it is bulletwood.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, the seeds and bark from this tree have other unique uses. You can turn them into perfumes, colorants, and even jewelry. Now I'm curious about what the jewelry looks like. And then we have the magenta cherry. Look at these, look like mini apples.
Oh yeah, they're weird.
They don't look anything like cherries.
Yeah.
Imagine taking a bite of a juicy cherry, but the flavor of a Granny Smith apple meets you instead. That's exactly what would happen if you were to try a magenta cherry. Just like the sour apple, the tartness of the fruit doesn't stop people from eating it uncooked. It does make for great jam and baked goods. It's also distinctive because of its bluish red appearance, firm skin, and succulent flesh.
Love a good succulent flesh.
Right? They're native to Australia, but can flourish in many tropical climes, so probably not here.
Yeah, probably not.
They do. They look almost exactly like the little red crab apples.
Right, like a little mini apple.
Like the little ones I have in my backyard.
Right, it's making me wonder if I have one of these in my backyard and not a crab apple. The cordia cherry is another cherry. This is that deep, dark color.
It looks really good.
Oh my God, it's making my mouth actually water. They look so good. By the time it's August, most cherries have already matured and people have picked them. But the cordia cherry is just starting to ripen. This fruit is certainly worth the wait. They have a pleasant, sugary taste. They are plump and substantial in size. They're almost jet black at their peak.
Well, that's like we have blackberries at our
Mhm.
house, and the kids and people that visit want to pick them. I say, if you touch it and it falls in your hand, it's ripe.
Right.
If you have to pull it off, it's going to be sour.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And so sounds the same. It has to be really dark to jet black, it says at their peak. And that's the way with blackberries are, too.
Boy, that is so hard. When you're berry picking,
Yeah.
right? And it just like, okay, just put it on. And if it comes off easily,
Yeah.
but you get so greedy because they taste so good.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh my gosh. Oh, that's hard.
Yeah.
Hard. Anyway, these beautiful, unbelievably, this is a great picture.
It is. It
This
is.
picture that we're looking at, everybody, you just want to pick up a handful of these cherries and go, nom, 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 nom.
Yep.
They look a lot like our typical black cherry.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It says the tree itself is charming and attractive looking. So that's what you should plant, Chuck. You should take down that horrible tree and add this one. Okay.
I should. I had one of them that I chopped down.
The tree has character.
It does. I had one of them that I chopped down a few years ago because it was mostly dead and it was producing like little weird misshapen little green crab apples.
Dead yet?
And it's back again. It's like 10 feet tall again. And I chopped it down to the ground. It was completely gone. And now it's got apples on it again this
Yeah,
year.
most fruit trees are grafted, especially apples. So
Yeah.
you don't know what kind of tree you've got underneath.
Yeah,
you
probably
know?
black walnut.
Yeah.
They usually graft because black walnut is resistant to bugs. Again, I learned this from the guy who was the son of the Rainier cherry farmer. So a lot of the fruit trees and nut trees are grafted onto black walnut because they're pest resistant. And so you'll see if you go past the orchards, there'll be this dark wood underneath, and then there will be the lighter wood of the actual fruit tree.
Oh.
Yeah, interesting.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah. Really, if you're driving from the east side to the west side and you go through like the orchards of Wenatchee or where are they? I know in Northern California and stuff, we used to drive through the orchards all the time, and he would point out, see where the grafting happens? See where the grafting happened? Because you would see that darker wood underneath.
Yeah. Wenatchee's famous for
I love driving across the state, and there's a lot of areas in the farms where they put on the fences what they're growing.
I know.
I love
yes,
that.
And I really love that. I really like being able to, instead of guessing and being wrong most of the time, I love being able to actually know what they're gardening there.
That's actually potatoes or that's actually corn.
Yes.
And it's just sort of one stretch, like one region of the state where they do that. I wonder if they passed an ordinance or if it's just people started doing it because
I don't
it's
know.
nice.
Probably the county extension or something like
Maybe.
that.
But I really like that.
Yeah.
Really quick, we're about out of time here, but I wanted to go on another type of cherry that is common around these parts that I've seen a lot, especially when we're in Tennessee.
Ground cherry.
Ground cherries.
Yes.
Now, I can't even find an answer on Google of whether or not that's an actual cherry because it's more like a tomatillo.
I think it's more of a tomatillo. I think it's more on the nightshade side than cherry.
Well, but ground cherries belong to the genus Physalis, while tomatoes belong to the genus Solanum. Ground cherries are also known as husk tomatoes or strawberry tomatoes. But you can use them the same way you
What do they
use
look
a
like?
tomatillo.
They have the wrapping, and they're just
Okay.
little tiny little golden orbs. You can find them in the stores sometimes.
Okay.
But it was so much fun. We had a neighbor across the way who would grow them. And when we were staying with Nancy and Greg, he would invite us over, and his grandkids would be there, and Xander was little, and they would just go around, and he'd pick the little ground cherries, and I've wanted to grow them ever since because they were so delightful.
Yeah.
That little lantern-like covering, and you just pop them out, and there's this wonderful golden little, perfectly round little beautiful, sweet tart
And
little ground cherry. Yeah.
and they are most closely related to the tomatillo, which
Yeah.
actually is also not a tomato.
Right?
Yeah. And used a lot to make salsas and used very extensively in Mexican and Native American cooking.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I've always wanted to grow ground cherries because they're so delightful. Let me pull up a picture because Sharon doesn't see what we're looking at here.
They're very
I
cute.
have no idea. Do they grow wild?
I've seen them growing wild. I don't know if they
There
were
you go.
originally planted to be wild, but
Yeah, that's just it. I think they might have gone crazy. See?
yeah.
Oh, okay. I've seen those in
Yeah.
in the markets and stuff, but
Yeah.
These beautiful little,
they look like the Chinese lantern.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Oh, it's 9, sorry.
All right. Your alarm goes off. That means it is time to end the show. Is there anything else you guys wanted to get done with before we head out of here for the day?
Well, I'm hungry. We've been looking at cherries. Now I'm just like, where are the cherries? Bring in the cherries.
I had some Rainier cherries in the fridge here in the studio, but I think I may have eaten them all. I don't know if they're still in there or not.
Just teasing us.
I'm going to check it out here. All right, so you can stay tuned right here tonight from 6 to 8 p.m. with Music for the Mountain. Then 8 to 10 p.m. we have Dirt Road Blues with our very own Dirt Road Doug McQuain live in the studio. Then from 10 p.m. to 1 a.m. we have Planetary Radio, Sea Change Radio, Echo Shock Total, and Earth Date. With that said, we'd like to wish you all a great day. I hope you guys enjoy these last few days of heat before we get some rain and some cooler weather, which personally I am welcoming with open arms.
Right? I think it might be a perfect time for any of you who like to go out and splash in puddles. This weekend sounds like it'll be a great rain puddle splashing weekend.
I agree.
Right?
I agree.
Yep.
Excited.
And we'll see you at all of the different wonderful activities that happen in Chihuahua.
Exactly.
Yes.
And rain or shine, we will be doing the Cherry Splat at the Farmers Market Friday morning. You can also tune in right here tomorrow morning with our new Thursday morning co-host, Gina Greenwood.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't remember off the top of my head. She'll be a special guest tomorrow, but
Yeah, Cindy.
yeah. Well, I don't remember if it's this week or the next week.
Oh, gotcha. Okay.
You're making hand motions. You're distracting me. Were you typing something?
Chuck,
I'm trying to
I'm
end-
making hand motion. Oh.
I'm trying to end the show, and she's doing a hex on me. All right, everybody. Thank you so much for listening to the KCHW Morning Show. That does it for today. We're out of here. We will see you later. Have a great day, everybody.
Have a great day, everybody.
Bye.
I got to find the button here. There we go.
See you around.
It's 9:02.
Your KCHW Morning Show.